Hey everyone, it's Nelson Miller here with PA Creative. Welcome to the overview video on how to use the Events Feed module in the Divi Events Calendar plugin. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to add the module to your layout, talk about the settings and features that it has, and show you some tips on how to use it. And as you set up and use this module, I highly recommend that you reference our document, which lists all of the settings and features included in this particular module. You should also check out the demos, and we'll be going over those in this video as well. So I'm just going to start here by adding a row, and then we're going to go ahead and type in events. And that brings up all of our modules at this time. So we're looking for events feed. Go ahead and click that, and it will pull up the default events feed layout. Now we're going to be talking about the settings, just going over them, showing you a quick glimpse of what all is available and how you can adjust the styling and layout of this module. The events feed module works great on just any old page like the home page, or this also works good as a search results page or a category template page. You can pretty much use the events feed anywhere you want. You can even use it on the events archive page. And depending how you were using it, over here we'll get started here in the first tab. Use dynamic event content would turn that on, like if you're using it on an event category template. All right, so then moving on, you can see the event count. We could change this to 1. It would update and then you show just one event. And then there's different categories. So if you were to select these, this would be like if I wanted to only show events in the music category, you would just select that and it would just show those. It would show one of those right now, or turn that off. The date and time format, those are just used if you want to override the default. Now in your website settings and also in the events calendar settings, you can set the date and time format. So these are kind of redundant, but they kind of add that extra fine tuning if you want this different than in the rest of your website. Here's the excerpt length. That's 270 by default. That's what it always is. And then the event offset number, that's like similar to the Divi blog module where you could add different layouts. So if I had like one here that I wanted to feature, and then I added a second module, I could add one in the second module and it would skip that first event. Anyway, only show past events is used to make an archive of old events, the ones that have passed. So you would want to add a separate module, a separate events feed module, and turn that on. Under elements, we pretty much have a toggle for everything you see. So for example, the title, the date, pretty much everything here. Some of these are on, some are off by default. I'll just point out a couple. Stack event details. If you turn that on, it changes the layout of these details so that each item is on its own line. And then you can actually turn off the prepositions and dividers. See that? And then once you turn stack event details on, we actually added some new options here. Like you could add an icon to each one like that, or you could use labels. Okay. And then pagination options. So basically, by default, there's none enabled, but if you wanted to use that, you could turn that on. By default, it's on this load more button. Basically, at the bottom, there'll be a button that says load more. You could change that text, or we could switch it to a page style, where you click older and newer entries. And then the more info button, basically, that just gives you the control. Like you might want to say something like view event. And there you go. You can see that my button's all customized. So that's kind of cool. The design tab, here's where we have the layout options. So right now we're looking at one column. So it's set to one column and then the alignment. Now these two work together. So if we were to choose 3 columns, for example, well then we don't have the alignment. We can't use 3 columns and have it image left, details right. There wouldn't be any space for that. Now you can do it with 2. See that? And you can do it with 1, of course. Now, if I keep it on one column for now, alignment is image left, details right. So you can see the image over here, details are these. And then I could change that, put it on top, see that, and then we could put it on the right. All right, so that's pretty much all you can do there. And like I was showing you that you could do something like that. just 3 columns. All right, and 4. Now events, these are styling settings for each of these individual events. Now you may notice, like in a lot of Divi modules, you'll have settings like, let me show you here, like sizing, spacing, border. Now those would affect the entire outside of the module. That's just how, that's how they are. So if I just show you real quick, see how I'm adding a border to the outside of my module, and it would be the same thing with just the regular spacing and box sizing. Okay, now events though is kind of the individual one, so where events here, I could add like a border like I was just showing you. See how it adds it then to each individual one. So there's a lot of settings for that. Let's just look at these here. So we have the event background color. See how that's just for events. And then margin, the actual spacing of each of these events. And then padding, I already have some in here. You might want to, round the corners, add your border styles, and maybe add a box shadow. So those are a lot of settings there for your individual events. So we've really added a lot of, fine tuning that you can do here. Now image, that's basically this featured image here, thumbnail. So you can change the alignment, which you can't when you're in this layout, but if you had this image on top, you could. And then we have image margin and image padding. Of course, you can adjust all of these settings, on different devices. That's how they all are, by the way. And then the image width. And again, if we were in the other layout, like it's not layout, actually the alignment right here. So if I had image top, details bottom, like this, we might want to go in here to image and add some margin or padding here, because see, this is touch, things like that. Let's go back. I think it was easier to see. And then I talked about image. So that's pretty much, you get the same standard settings there, box shadows, borders, and all that. If you wanted to add the box shadow, see, just to that image, you get the idea. Pretty much just added as many settings as possible. We kind of pride ourselves in that this module has really matured. And then basically these next several here are just text styling. So title text, that's the event title. And that you can see right there. You can see it being changed. Okay, so and then of course all your normal text style settings. Okay. And then details text, that's all of these details right here. And of course, if you were using label, like we happen to be right here, if you wanted to change that color, skip that. So here you can change the details links, like those are the ones that you'll see right here. Like these are links, category, website, and then icon and label. And then you just have, your normal ones. And then excerpt is separate again, so you can see that's changing that. And then we have load more button, we have a load more button, but more info button, it's this one right here. So you could go in here and turn this on and start customizing everything about it. You can go, it's all like what you're used to with Divi. Okay, so just basically go through and style and customize this however you want this to be. Really happy with that. Now this align to bottom, if we did that, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense right now. But if we had a layout where it was like even 2 columns, something like that, you'll notice that the buttons won't always line up. See that and that. Now if we go back here to our more info button and turn on align to bottom, you'll see that they align to bottom. Someone had asked for that feature, so we added it. I don't know if I like it or not. And then, like I started to say just a bit ago, the load more button, and that's one that's for pagination, when you have the pagination turned on here. Okay, so you can style that, of course, align that button as well. So yeah, and then these other ones are all standard features, so I'm not really going over the ones that are just the ones that we're so familiar with in other Divi modules. But I hope this gives you an idea of what is possible Yeah, definitely be checking out the demos. In fact, over here on our demo site, this is demo one where we're looking at right now. Just the way we've styled it is just an example. Here you can see, I've rounded these corners, added this border, adjusted these different styles here. The button on hover, the icon, and just different things. Here's 2 columns. Let's go to a couple other ones here, like stacked options. Basically, when we turn on that toggle to stack event details, see, that's how they're each on their own line. And then, of course, with icons, showing it that way, showing it with labels. So I think they look really good. The amount of settings and styling is just, I'm just so happy with it. And then pagination options, if you wanted to demo that as well. And again, you can be using this module on these other types of pages, like showing past events. It would just be, you could put an archive on a different page showing past events. The event category template, of course, in the theme builder, we have a separate tutorial on that. Search results. So the events, this events feed module is really versatile, and you can even stack this. Like if you were using the stacked options one, you could even put this in a sidebar, like using this layout where it's image on top, and you could even just show the title and the date and time, and it would be like this list of 5 of them in a sidebar. I don't have a demo of that, but I should. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Going over this, be sure to be checking out our list of settings. That's over here in the documentation as well. All of the the features and settings, and it kind of acts as a change log where you can see the little version numbers, see what's coming, and see what's already added. And of course, we also have all these other documents here as well, and we're constantly updating this. So be sure to be referencing these. They do answer a lot of the common questions, and it's just really nice if you check that first. But you can always let us know if we're missing something, or if you have a question. We're always going to be here to help, or if there's any type of issue. All right, so I hope this video was helpful and that you can have fun setting up your events feed module.